I'm going to create a new project, and I'm just going to call it step counter. So today we are going to work through the steps to create a step counter. Now the first thing that I will want to do is I want to create a variable. Now remember, a variable is a value that can be set and changed throughout the running of a program. So I'm going to make a variable. I'm just going to call it the steps. Okay, the steps that I'm doing. What I want to do is when at the beginning of my program, I'm going to set the steps to 0. Okay, so now whenever the program starts in the beginning, it is going to start from 0. Now I could have an input, and I could say when I press the A button, I'm going to go back to variables, I'm going to change my steps by 1. Okay, quite a simple way of doing it. So now you'll see as I press A, it will increase the steps, but nothing's being shown on here at the moment. Now I might want to just check my variable just to check that it's working, so I could have this in here, show number, and at the moment it's just going to show the number 0, and if I want that to be dynamic and updating with my variable here, I just need to go to variables and drag this oval shaped steps into where it says show number. So now you should see when it refreshes, it starts at 0, I press A and it will increase each time, counting up. I might want to say something like on B button pressed, then I'm going to change the steps by -1. Okay, so now you should see that I can increase with A and I can decrease with B. Okay, it's quite a simple way of doing it. Now if I wanted to make this a little bit more complicated, I could for example have on shake, then it's going to change the steps by 1. Because if you think about like a way of counting your steps, like in a smartwatch or even in some smartphones, it's usually when the person moves, when there's shake, when it is detected, that it will change the step counter. So now if I press on the shake, that's kind of mimicking the microbit shaking, you can see I can do it by using my mouse as well, that it will increase each time, and obviously that number could get really, really big. Now I might want to not have it forever being shown. I might want to say on button A pressed, then show the steps. Okay, so now nothing, you see that nothing is on the screen, but then if I press the A button, it's going to tell me what my steps are. So I can carry on pressing shake, press again, and you'll see now obviously it's a larger number, it's scrolling across the screen. But actually this is quite basic, and I can be a little bit more complex with my coding here. I'm just going to take these two out and delete these. And I can use some logic here. So I could say if something is true, the thing that I'm going to say is true is going to be an input. Now we used the on shake before, but we've also got this is shake gesture, which you'll see as a hexagonal block. I can drag that in, and I can say the same thing. I could say if the shake gesture, then I'm going to change the steps by 1, and I could also say if, and remember we had the button A being pressed before, and you've got this hexagonal button A pressed here before, then I could show the steps. So the program will still work the same, so it's still working on the shake gesture, and then the A being the way to display the variable, but this time I'm just making it a little bit more, my logic being a little bit better, using those selection statements of if and then. Okay, I could obviously add in some more logic in here. So I could say, for example, looking for maybe now if the B button is pressed, then I could change the steps by -1, for example. And there's lots of other things that we could play around with here, but that's just a really basic way of using selection with the variables to create some kind of step counter.